What's up, Red Wings fans? Welcome inside Little Caesars Arena for another edition of the Forecheck presented by PointsBet. I'm your host, Daniella Bruce, alongside Red Wings radio play-by-play announcer Kal. I hope you haven't talked since Saturday after calling 17 goals. Rest that voice of yours, Ken.
I had the salt and water. I was gargling it like you wouldn't believe because 17 goals. What a game that was. Just a wild game. Never seen anything like that.
It was crazy to be here at Little Caesars Arena. I was joking that after my second intermission show, I was walking back to get my bag. By the time I got downstairs, the Red Wings had scored 4 goals. So anyway, after 2 periods, the Red Wings were down 7-2. Many of us thought this game was over, and the goal for the Red Wings was just to win the period. Mitch Marner had a hat trick by the time the second period ended.
Yeah, he had a great game in that top line. I think they produced 15 or 16 total points. So what a night it was for Matthews, Marner, and company. And it was just one of those games where defense went out the window and it was all about offense.
That's right, and goaltending struggled too. Both teams made some goaltending changes throughout the night.
Yeah, they certainly did, and it wasn't a night for the goaltenders. And I'll tell you another thing, it wasn't a night for the coaches too. I think they were scratching their head, and sometimes when a game goes like that and you get all that offense, Daniella, you just get dragged into it. And I think the Red Wings got dragged into it, and we all know, Toronto can score the best of them. Thought the Red Wings did pretty well, but if you score 7 goals, maybe you should win the hockey game. But that just wasn't the case on Saturday night.
It was a wild game. Like I said, 7-2 in favor of Toronto after 2 periods. But buckle up, everybody, and take a look at this third period that we saw on Saturday night. So again, picking it up in that third period and just 35 seconds into the game. Here's the faceoff in the Leafs zone. Mark Stahl gets a hold of it, sends it to Filip Hronek, who just throws it at the net, and it bounces off the goaltender Anderson and into the back.
A lot of players just standing around. I think that's what really gets the coaches' ires going. They didn't go after the puck or anything, and you throw the puck to the net, off the goaltender and in, and the goaltenders really struggle. That was Jack Campbell right there.
And that was, I'm sorry, Andersons who we're facing tonight. That was silly of me, Jack Campbell. But here we go. This was just the start for the Red Wings. About 90 seconds later, it's Hronek who takes another shot here all the way from the blue line, and Rowney tips it in.
Yeah, he didn't know it was in. I don't think Carter Rowney there. But again, you get net front presence, and Rowney was in the right position at the right time. And they always have that good hand-eye coordination. He just deflected it behind the goaltender.
And again, it just goes by Jack Campbell, who I'm sure at this point is starting to get a little bit frustrated. And now just over 2 minutes later, this is Joe Veleno. Filip Hronek again just sends it to the corner. Joe Veleno takes a shot and puts that one past Campbell. I don't know how that one went in.
I didn't know for calling the goal. I didn't know if it went in or not, but it seemed like Joe Veleno knew exactly that the puck went behind the bar. And you got to give the Red Wings credit. They just never gave up. And starting that third period, I just said, let's get a solid period going in so that they'll be ready for that Carolina game. But wouldn't you know it, the Red Wings had an opportunity to tie it up.
Yeah, Joe Veleno, it's great to see him get on the board, even though if it was in that fashion. He's been playing hard between here and Grand Rapids. So now it's 7-5 in favor of Toronto. Less than a minute later, Ken, here's another shot from the point. This time it's Mo Seider and Rasmussen with the tip-in.
Kind of looked like the Rowney goal, didn't it?
Yeah.
He was right out in front, and Seider got it towards the front of the net, and bang, it's in the net, and it's a 1-goal game.
And the Red Wings scored 4 goals in just 4 minutes and 46 seconds, Ken. It was quite the 5 minutes there in the third period, but Toronto would respond. It was a very high-scoring affair, and this is just less than 2 minutes later again, and Ilya Mikheyev rushes through the zone here, and he takes it in on his own, makes a nice move, beats Nedeljkovic, and Nedeljkovic actually makes the first save, but it's the second puck that gets past him.
It just seems like anytime you just put it on net, that puck was going to find itself into the back of the net. And you're right about Lindstrom right here, off his skate, in behind. And that was really a heartbreaking goal for Detroit, but the Red Wings, they didn't say die.
No, they didn't. Just 41 seconds later this time, it's the rookie Lucas Raymond who gets a hold of the puck in the neutral zone and takes it in himself. Just decides to take the shot, Ken, and this one, 5-hole. And that time, I believe it was Peter Mrazek at this point. So it goes 5-hole, but 10-hole, right? Because it's through 2.
That was a double wicket there, right?
Right.
In croquet, but I'll tell you what, the crowd really got into it after this goal by Raymond, and it just seemed like the Red Wings had the momentum going. Toronto was on their heels, and it looked like the Red Wings could tie up this hockey game.
So a 3-point night for Lucas Raymond, and it's now 8-7 in favor of the Leafs. The Red Wings go on the power play here. This was the dagger, Ken. It's Kampf who makes the play here, and he's skating in, finds his teammate, and bam, that's Kaja making it a 9-7 game.
We take Mo Seider for granted and all those good plays he makes at the blue line. This one just gets behind him, and The Leafs come back down and get a big goal, and that was a shorthanded tally. And
Yeah.
that's 10 seconds into the power play. That one
Right.
really hurts.
Yeah, that one did hurt. And then Mitch Marner, we mentioned that he had a hat trick in the second period, or by the time the second period ended, he would score his fourth goal of the night. And the final from that game is 10-7. So, yes, your throat is rested. You sound great.
Yeah. Well, we're ready. Hopefully, it'll be a better defensive game against a team like the Carolina Hurricanes, who are pretty good offensively and defensively as well.
Now, we're going to look at the Red Wings that did have multi-point nights in that game. I mean, I don't want to say it's easy to do when there's 17 goals on the board, but the Red Wings scored 7 goals, and all 5 of these guys had multi-point nights. Philip Hronek, Raymond, Veleno, Seider, and Stahl.
Yeah, really good offense from all the guys that we see on the board right there. And don't forget Dylan Larkin, who's got a 9-game point streak going. He had an assist in the hockey game. But again, Hronek, I don't think he had the best defensive game in the world, but had a career high 4 points, 1 goal, and 3 assists.
And you mentioned earlier, Ken, that this is a frustrating game for coaches to be a part of. They just can't really figure out what's going on. And Coach Blashill had an interesting reaction. Express that frustration a little bit. Check it out.
I'm sure it was exciting for the fans, and the building was loud. All I'm thinking about is the fact that it's not good enough. And it's great that, we were able to finally start shooting the puck, and the pucks went in there late. But at the end of the day, it's fool's gold. Like, that's not good enough. So if we, and I think our guys know that. Well, I hope our guys know that. Like, what happened out there tonight wasn't good enough, period.
So, Ken, Jeff Blashill calls that fool's gold, and I think that's a good term for what we saw in the third period of that game. Things have to tighten up defensively for the Red Wings, and I'm sure that's what they worked on this week.
You know what, Daniela? I think if you're a hockey player, you want to play almost every other day. And I know it looks like it's a brutal schedule, but that's what these players are conditioned for. And if you looked at the Red Wings schedule, they played a game, had almost a week off, play another game, have 4 or 5 days off, play another game. You just can't get sharp. And I think one of the hardest things for a player to do after having 5 days off is to get engaged. So you get in there, you get physical, you start winning battles in the corner, and that just didn't happen really for either team, but mostly the Red Wings. In the first 5-6 minutes of the hockey game, Detroit never picked up a loose puck in the offensive zone. So I'm sure they worked on that at practice over the last couple of days, and they'll be ready to go against Carolina.
Yeah, on a positive note, Jeff Blashill addressed the media this morning, and he said that he liked the energy a lot better from yesterday's practice and today's morning skate. He felt his guys were more engaged, and like you said, when you have so many days off, that can be hard to do.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. If you run a marathon or something like that, if you haven't run for 4 or 5 days, it just, your muscles get a little more sore. It's the same thing here with hockey players. They want to get involved physically, and you want to get in there and start winning battles in the corner, get possession of the puck, make things happen. And like I said before, it seemed like so many players are just standing around, and you can't win the National Hockey League that way. And it's not just the Red Wings. I think the Maple Leafs were guilty of that, especially in the third period as well.
That they were, and they have to go into tonight's game with a fresh mind, Ken. The Carolina Hurricanes, another very tough opponent here at Little Caesars Arena. They played on Sunday against the Edmonton Oilers, and it was a very tight scoring game and a very low scoring game compared to what we saw from the Red Wings on Saturday. But in the first period, the Canes are pressuring here, and they look so good and so sharp. They're moving the puck really well. It ends up being Teuvo Teravainen right here that makes it a 1-0 game.
Tic-tac-toe passing right there, and Teravainen and Aho, just a dynamic duo right now, and it seems like if one scores, the other one picks up the assist.
Yeah, and well, here comes Sebastian Aho's goal later in that first period. Canes on the power play, some more tic-tac-toe passing, great puck movement, and again, Aho finishes to make it 2-0.
Carolina Hurricanes 22-5-3 in their last 30 hockey games. They haven't lost many in regulation, but they're dynamic, they're explosive, and what they like to do is they like to get that puck in the offensive zone, and they take the shots. They get lots of shots on goal, but they're ready to retrieve the puck and usually come away with it too. So you have to be good defensively. You got to get the puck out of your own zone if you want to beat them.
And that you do. You're taking a look at the only goal that Edmonton would score in the game, which was in the second period. So the final in this one is 2-1 in favor of the Hurricanes, Ken, and we already talked about them. Their leading scorers have been outstanding. It's their top line. It's Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, and Teuvo Teravainen. Aho has 55 points on the season. Teuvo Teravainen, 43 points. Andrei Svechnikov, 50 points.
Yeah, that's that's a pretty good crew right there, and they can really light the lamp with the best of them. But let's keep in mind some of the other players that are on the Carolina Hurricanes. A guy like Martin Necas, he's a dynamic power forward, likes to go hard to the front of the net, big body guy, always seems to play well against Detroit. And the other guy that always seems to play well against Detroit is Vincent Trocheck, who always had some great games when he was a member of the Florida Panthers. And, you know, he played earlier in his career around the Detroit metropolitan area, so you got to keep an eye on him as well.
And both Necas and Trocheck are a part of the second line for Carolina, so they've got two very lethal lines.
And Martinuk's a good fourth line player, and they can check you with the best of them too. This is a good all-around team. And, you know, one thing about the Carolina Hurricanes is that we talk about their offense and that top two lines, but they're very solid defensively too. It starts with the goalkeeping, but defensively they really don't give you much. And right now they have 122 goals against in the National Hockey League, and that's second best in the NHL.
Yeah, when you mentioned goaltending, they have Frederik Andersen, who I accidentally mentioned earlier in the show, but he's been playing so well for Carolina. Tonight we are going to see Antti Ranta in net for Carolina alongside Alex Nedeljkovic for the Red Wings. So take a look at this goaltender comparison. Obviously, Ned's numbers suffered a little bit after Saturday's game, but you look at Antti Ranta, he's 7-3-1 on the season. Ken, I think you told me he's 3-0 against the Red Wings, right?
Yeah, he certainly is. And Anderson, I think, hasn't lost in regulation against the Red Wings. I think he's like 10-0-1 in his career. So here, how about this? If I would have told you at the end of last year that the Carolina Hurricanes would get rid of all three of their goaltenders, pick up three new ones, would you say that they would have the best opportunity to lead the division right now?
No, because you know what we were all thinking when the Red Wings acquired Alex Nedeljkovic. It was kind of like, well, what are they going to do in net? And man, they had a plan. They figured it out.
Well, they did figure it out. And Anderson's been terrific. In fact, he leads the National Hockey League, 29 victories this season. Right behind him is Vasilevsky at Tampa Bay. And Ranta's been pretty solid. He won his last game, I think it was January 20th or February 20th against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Alex Nedeljkovic has to be excited, too. This will be his second start against his former team. You know, guys always like to get up and play good for those games.
Didn't have a very good performance the last time he met his former team, but again, you know, he's a competitor, and again, you know, he wants to get back to his winning ways, and right now he's got 14 wins on the season. Like to get to that 500 mark with a win today.
That they would. And all of our betting friends that are listening today, make sure you download the PointsBet app if you haven't already. The Red Wings are at a +1.5 heading into tonight's game, and the over-under is set at 6.5. They're projecting another high-scoring affair here tonight at Little Caesars Arena. And, of course, you can get your NBA same-game parlays with PointsBet. They have a ton of them, and it's a lot of fun, and you can do that live during the game. So download that PointsBet app.
If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I'm going to say that the Red Wings are going to be practicing their overall defensive game today. I don't think you're going to see a lot of goals against today.
I was just flipping this on and off.
Scores.
Look at that.
Scores.
If you're coming down to the game tonight, courtesy of DTE, you can have one of these awesome little goal lights to keep at your house. Look at that. Very cute.
Like it.
I love it. So make sure you're getting down here early. Ken, you just taught me a little cheer. You guys got to hear this. Okay, wait. I'm going to do this. Do it, Ken. This is for the Red Wings tonight.
Well, back in high school, we had a good cheer. It was rah, rah, ree, kick him in the knee. Rah, rah, ras, kick him in the other knee.
I hope everyone else found that as funny as I did when Ken told me. We appreciate all of you tuning in to another edition of the Forecheck presented by PointsBet. We'll see you next time.
See ya.